Oh, there. Should we hear the music for the show? Hear it.
We can hear you. What's going on, everybody? This is the Shrooms Are Coming, Bitcoin Shrooms. This is our, believe it or not, this is our 8th episode. And man, we're just getting better and better. We've got Rolo in the house who does all the research for this, and you would be amazed at the amount of stuff he comes up with. Rolo, you've been traveling all over the place, yet you still manage time to, for one of these shrooms, there are 74 images that go quite a bit of detail about the U.S. economy and the global economy as a whole, and I was quite impressed. So welcome, sir.
Thank you. Always fun burning both ends of the candlestick. I'm pleased to be here. And yeah, 74 images. There's a lot of charts to go through, but was a blast. Look forward to a good one.
Yeah, no, this will be a good one. And I also have with me, we've got Ski God. Ski God, how you been lately?
Oh, fantastic. Just love what I see out there. Never been more inspired to be a part of this this ecosystem that is crypto. I just feel like the amount we've pushed forward and definitely not pulled back at all in recent months has been it's just everything I could ever dream of. So happy to be here. I have no idea what you're talking about with charts and the economy, because nobody really knows what's going on out there, especially the guy in the beanie right there. He has no clue. So you better drop some knowledge on us and figure out how to get this train turned around. Okay, we're all looking to have some fun. This was supposed to be our year, so let's do it.
I think you said it first. We become the ultimate community members.
So you're looking for NGU technology to kick in and trigger in a huge way. So Ski God, you would we call you a fair weather fan to the space, or are you just saying, no, you just want your bags to go up?
I roll with the wind. If things are good, I'm your best supporter. If things are bad, I don't want to talk to you.
You sound like a great friend. Be like, hey, when Blue's up making money and he's paying for all the dinners, I am right there. But when he's down on his luck,
right.
See,
otherwise it's an Irish goodbye for you.
See you, loser.
I think he looks the part right now.
Yeah,
that's right.
I swear, are you drunk already? I mean, this
is bear market hair.
Bear market hair, bear market sunglasses.
That's right.
No, I meant
I gotta hide the bruises. Gotta hide the black eyes that we've been getting.
And Rolo, off the show, you had mentioned Terminator. I assume that was from Ski God's attire.
Yeah, he's got 1981 Schwarzenegger vibes going on right now. thinking
81.
he'll be back.
Is that when Terminator 1 was? It was a long time ago. I thought
It was either 81. I get the numbers mixed up, but it could have been 81 or 84. I know it was early 80s. It
all
wasn't late.
right. Well,
Yeah.
welcome,
I'll
gentlemen.
fact
Before you
check that.
start, by the way, before you start, guys, if you can share this video, it would help get more people out there. It's, what is it, Thursday? Nobody's got anything going on. You might as well learn a little bit about Bitcoin shrooms. And if you want a big fuck you Bitcoin shrooms shirt, and you comment and kind of participate along the way here, you can be rocking that thing in no time.
I feel
Thanks
like
to
it
Roll
suits the vibe right now. Yeah. It was 1984, by the way, folks. IMDb, thank you. Terminator,
Yeah.
number one.
Kenny has joined us. He had bad internet connections. He had to do the full reboot, which we've all done. You do the full cycle of everything. Kenny, can you hear us? And are you here?
Yep, I can hear you guys. Can you guys hear
welcome,
me?
Legend. Good morning.
Oh yeah. I was
Appreciate
like doing a show without Kenny. I'd be like, you can't do that. It would just, something would feel off. Be like no gravy.
We're quite the same.
Be like no gravy on Thanksgiving or something.
Do they even have Thanksgiving over there in the Euros?
No, we don't actually.
They have nothing to be thankful for.
Exactly. Bad history.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Kenny, welcome. Glad you got the interwebs working. We got a good show pack for today. And I assume you guys you're all piping through on Zoom, which nobody else cares about. But does it look better? Is it the timing feels better? There's no delay, I don't think, like we used to have.
Yeah, well,
Everything
sure. First
feels
for
crisp.
me, it seems, yeah, seems like it's working okay.
All right.
Yep, works
Yeah.
for me.
That's what we like to. That's what we like to hear. So, all right. Well, Kenny, welcome. Glad you're all here. And yeah, Rolo, should we just kick off? Kenny, I was
Let's
telling.
kick
I
this
don't know
thing
if you,
off.
Kenny, I don't know if you looked at the research today, but Rolo for one of these shrooms has he graced me when I woke up this morning with 74
I went
images to drop into one of the folders here, and while he's talking to figure out which one to pull up on the macroeconomic forecast of the world from the last 612 years is going to be this is going to be a ride.
I figured I'd really make him work hard for this one shroom. Squeeze every ounce of juice I could.
Yeah, I'm here for it, man. So,
Awesome.
all right,
Excited.
Rolo, should we, let's see, let's kick off. And like Ski God said, everybody repost this post and you're going to win a free shirt. I got to say, Rolo, when I see on the timeline, like, you know how when you read an email, like if you're in a good mood, you read it with good tone. If you're in a bad mood, you read the email with bad tone, no matter what they intended. Whenever I read a post of yours right now, I'm like, whoa, Rolo. Back it up with the swear finger, dude. My God.
It's just
He's
in
on
your
his,
face. Yeah.
he's
Really
on
has
his
that
villain
little
arc.
oomph.
He's on his villain arc. Is that because the market's down and shrooms are people keep dropping
Figured
it
it's a
by
good time.
0.02 a day until they get down to
I mean, his PFP is just great on the timeline. You
It
won't
does
miss.
stick out.
You won't
I
miss.
will
it.
say that.
until
Might
Twitter
not have
missed the
manners, but
post.
until X bans him. I forgot you had this one.
yeah,
This,
matter of time.
this one's a classic. Is this in your top 30? I guess it is since you own it.
It is. Yeah, I do love this. I am a little biased, but I love this design. I mean, what an in your face, different departure from the rest of the shrooms. So
Yeah,
love that one.
It's a different side of you for sure. So, all right, well, let's get started with the orange pill. So, Rolo,
Yeah.
why don't you take us through this?
For sure. Yeah, let's kick this thing off. So we started off with ordinal number 866, which is called Orange Pill. And I think this is a totally sick shroom. I think it's a very unique design, really clean form factor. Frankly, like everything it stands for. It's I know Shrimtoshi also was a big fan of sharing this one. He would use it humorously a lot in chats to kind of emphasize a point. So, other interesting tidbits I think is for sale right now. It's listed. It's close to 2 Bitcoin as the ask currently.
No,
And I think it's fairly reasonable considering how signature that one
way
is. So, yeah.
lower, dude. You haven't check the screen. 1.508.
Did it sink? Oh, wow. They adjusted their price.
Yeah,
Haven't
so-
been on in a bit. I didn't want to check, but
Yeah, it's 1.508 right now, and it's
Wow.
it's like the 12th lowest. The lowest one.
yeah.
Oh, did one sell? There was one at 0.7. The Bible was at 0.78 this morning. Let's see. if
Bible got delisted. Yeah. Seller took it down.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're.
But what do you guys think? You guys like that one? It's
I mean,
orange pill.
I'm a massive fan. Ski and I have the orange pill space, so I mean, this has got to be one of our favorites.
Pretty
Obviously,
pretty spot
historic.
on.
I'm in love with the whole Matrix reference, blue pill, red pill, orange pill,
Totally.
maybe.
Yeah.
So I think this is from like a, how do you say, like a rhetoric, metaphoric standpoint, I think this is probably in my top two of all Bitcoin shrooms, just
Oh,
of
I could get behind that.
the
Yeah.
meaning
yeah.
and the kind of, yeah, I love the whole Plato's cave. So this is awesome.
Kenny, what's your number one? Have we already
That's
revealed
a
it?
great question. I don't
It's
know if
got
we've
to be
covered that.
Raspberry Blitz.
It is not Raspberry Blitz. I've been
Hmm.
thinking about this one for a long time. I'm always
Two
kind of
years.
torn between what the fuck happened in 1971
Oh, that's a great
and
one.
That one's
Yeah,
next.
the other one
we're covering her.
is the CBDC 19 I'm gonna get it wrong.
Night
84?
was it 84? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Terminator
Yep.
vibes.
Oh,
Yep.
I almost got the 1984 one, but I chose to go with my my 8-bit video game passion as a kid instead. But yeah, that 1984 one's awesome.
I feel those choices. Those are good picks.
I would say Orange
Appreciate it, yeah.
Pill. Orange Pill definitely. It's funny because I never scroll the collection as much as you guys did, but now obviously I am because we're all going through these one by one. This one's definitely
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
is definitely a top 10 for me. It's I do like the aesthetics heads, but I know we've all been through that a million times. But this one, like you said, the
Right.
Matrix reference and just the symmetry of it, the two shades of orange and just the simple head, like you can't
It's a
get
beautiful design.
you can't get
Yeah.
better than this one. And if it makes a good PFP and it's got memeability, like the most memeable ones are probably obviously the red and green
Yeah.
candle. I'm sure there's 20 others.
Mimetics
but
are off the chart on this.
yeah, for sure. So this one's a winner and it checks off like every box.
Love that. No, I think that's a good take. And it just in terms of pure symbolism, like Kenny was saying, like it stands for so much. And I think the Matrix series aligns so well in terms of that analogy with like waking up to the realities of the world and kind of like unplugging from a system that you're traditionally kind of, steeped in. So there's so many well-aligned parallels there with the symbolism. And yeah, I love it for that reason. So ST did a great job with that one. But for that, we could kick into the lore time for this guy.
Let's go.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I want to ask, what point for all of you guys did you cross the chasm to being like orange pilled, essentially? Like, what was the thing that really pushed you over the edge to be like, okay, I understand what's going on here, and I'm going to buy some of this, and I'm going to
Yeah,
hold it because, like, what was that moment for you guys?
that's a great question.
Indeed.
I know mine.
Go ahead.
I'll,
You guys
I'll
want
give
to
you
go?
I'll give you my short real quick. It
Please.
was
Yeah.
It was the Robert Breedlove What Is Money show 4 years ago. I watched the Sailor series, and it was episode 4 after he got past kind of the history of money in the world. Episode 4, when he started talking about Bitcoin as like digital energy
Mm,
and kind of like how, your time or, you are basically spending energy to earn value, and basically Bitcoin is the best way to hold on to that value over time, or whatever. Like after that one episode, I was like, okay, like I'm in, I get it now. So that was my moment. That was like 2020. I
that's
mean,
a
I've been
good
around
one.
a long time, but
Yeah.
So that
it never
was your
really
moment
sunk
where
in.
it sunk in on a much bigger
Yeah.
scale of preserving wealth.
Yeah, like seeing it as like something other than just like anti-fiat currency, seeing it as like its
Right.
own thing, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
No, that's a really good one. I draw some parallels to that. I think for me, mine was kind of like a two-stage uh pilling, I guess. Like the first one was when I, tried to send something from my traditional bank a long time ago and it got halted. It was like a, somewhat larger amount of money and they froze it. They called me and they told me they'd halted it for whatever reasons, asked me all these questions. And then I just sent some Bitcoin to my friend's address and it took 2 seconds and no one asked me a question and that was it. There was nothing to it. And I did a little more digging and I was like, well, I could literally do this anytime, anywhere, from any place. And all I need is a number that's either stored in my head or, otherwise. And that was that kind of wake up moment that I was like, well, okay, there's the value add right there, at least one of them. And then, like you were saying, Ski, with the other explanation. That was, I forget who did it, but someone drew that analogy as well and explained that Bitcoin is essentially this massive energy grid, and your value is essentially backed and secured by the world's largest energy grid. And that was that aha moment that I was like, okay, this is something completely different than what you could possibly find. And that was it for me. So kind of a two-stage thing.
What about you, Kenny?
Well, I've got either the best or the most boring one.
We'll let you know.
Drum roll.
I was quite late to crypto in general. I joined 2022 with NFT on Ethereum, and I was onboarded to Bitcoin with the Bitcoin Shrooms. They are what taught me Bitcoin. I only got into
Love that.
Bitcoin because I was researching Bitcoin Shrooms. I had heard that these were the low inscription grails on Bitcoin, and only then did I come to find what immense value is in Bitcoin, what the kind of faults of this world are in comparison to Bitcoin. So yeah, for me it was the Bitcoin shrooms.
I think that's incredible. I don't know
That's
if
a
you would
great.
ask for a better,
That's
yeah,
that's the best story there
use
is.
case,
Yeah, I
right?
mean that's cool that it's neat that everyone comes in through such different channels. For me, it was
Yeah.
my brother who. Ski God, I know you make fun of me for being old, but my brother's even older. I'm the youngest of the kids in my family, but he's always been tech savvy and he's a smart guy, and he's a business owner too, and we're super tight. But he at one of the family birthdays was like, hey, there's this Bitcoin thing. I just heard Andreas Antonopoulos on Joe Rogan. And, I think you'd like it. You should check it out. And I'm like, all right, I'll listen. And there was another birthday in like 2 weeks. So I knew I was going to see him. And we made a pact that night that we each would have to figure out how to buy Bitcoin, figure out how to get into a wallet. And then I would send him $5 in Bitcoin and he would send $5 back. Well,
Oh, that's fun.
so I bought the Bitcoin and kind of sight unseen. I listened to Joe Rogan right away. I was intrigued. I listened to there was a guy named Morgan Spurlock who did the Super Size Me. He actually did an
Oh, yeah.
episode of he
I
had a
remember that
show
guy.
like 30 for 30. It was like living on crypto. So I watched
Hmm.
that right after. And then there was a documentary about Charlie Schrempf and kind of the early guys like Eric Voorhees. I watched
Yeah.
that, but I got the $5. I bought a bunch more than that when it was at $250, and then we went to the next birthday, and Bitcoin from the first birthday to the second went from 250 to like 800, and he's like,
Oh
he was
my.
so pissed. He's like, I missed it. I'm like, you know what? Just buy it. Buy some. And he finally, like 3 weeks later, he did. It went down a little, but
Nice.
he bought it much higher, and he was so mad. I'm like, dude, like I just suspect you got to just buy it and you're not going to be pissed. And obviously he did, and then we did the
Oh yeah.
exchange. But the aha moment for me, and he's actually going to be at the Bitcoin conference, and he ducked out. Nobody's really heard of this guy because he hasn't been around in a while. I
Hmm.
think probably because he was so early, has so much Bitcoin. His name's
I'm
Trace
intrigued.
Meyer.
Oh
And
yeah, Trace Meyer.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did this thing.
Yeah.
He did a whole video
It's like what
and
happened to that
podcast
guy?
called he was a big gold guy like his dad, but he got
Yeah.
into Bitcoin early, and he has this video called the 7 network effects, like
Hmm.
how each network, like there's only 21 million Bitcoin. So there's the demand, and then there's there's buying things with it. Then there's the gold thing. And I don't remember what the 7 were, but basically he's like, the more those lock in, the more it just like is a self-fulfilling flywheel, and it's inevitable. And that's when I was like
Yeah.
completely hook, line, and sinker in.
That's cool. He used to air as a guest quite a bit and was posting quite a lot back in the days. And then one day I just
He just
never
stopped.
saw him again. And yeah, he just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
Probably
So
smart.
yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
I think he gets it that like if you're you're a Bitcoin OG and people know you have billions of dollars now.
There's
Like
only so much. Yeah.
you might want to. Speaking of the family thing, and then we can get into it. Sorry, but I just think this
Yeah.
is a worthwhile topic. I was listening to. I haven't listened to him in a while, but I was listening to Jack Mallers yesterday, the
Hmm.
strike guy
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
looks like he's 12 still. Uh, he actually got into he kind of said how he got into Bitcoin. Do you guys know like how he was introduced into Bitcoin?
Didn't he like drop
I
out
might have
of
heard it at some
college
point,
because he
but
thought it was so dumb and he got into it and then just started researching the hell out of it? Or am I thinking of someone else?
He did drop out of college, and when he got home, his dad said, "Hey, I think you should look into this Bitcoin." His dad was a pit trader in Chicago. And basically, his dad got into Bitcoin and was like looking at all the exchanges. He was like, Mount Gox, that I don't really trust them. They have liquidity issues. We should figure out how to like. I just saw this guy, Mark Andreessen, talking about Coinbase. This is all
Yeah.
his dad.
imagine
And
getting
then he
orange pilled by your
told
dad.
yeah, and then
This
he told
hardcore
Maulers, and he
Bitcoiner.
basically got into it that way, and then started, one of the most, well-known crypto businesses. And so I was like,
It's
I
a
just
pretty
assumed
awesome
it was
story.
him, being a young kid found his way, but no, it was his dad as like an ex-trader that understood like the market side of it, which back then is, I mean, that's how powerful would it be to have
100%.
have trading
Yeah.
experience back when it was nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Uh,
but I've heard that story once before. Someone else's dad, it was NFT broker, but he was telling me how his dad was like, a bunch of shows and very, very well into Bitcoin and basically got him into it. And so it's like not the craziest one-off story, I guess, but you don't hear it that often. It's pretty
it's
amazing.
usually you trying to shill your dad, you
Right.
know?
Usually the
Well,
other
it's
way
it's
around. You
funny.
get
Before
your
my
folks into it.
parents died, before my mom died in 20, GBTC was around, so it was probably like 2016. My mom, like, I would be like, Mom, just get some, put it in your account, and she was like, what is it? And finally one day she was like, I think I get it. I don't think my dad ever fully did, but she bought some. I think when she died, I don't think she ever saw it rip. It was before whatever the pre bull was. But I was like, good for you, Mom. Like she's like, I get it. I get it. It's a store of value. So I convinced my 80-year-old mother like how important it was. So that
That's
mission
good job on
accomplished.
that.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
you don't
it's
need
a
to be
beautiful thing
orange
when you see
pilling
it.
80-year-olds, okay? They don't need it.
Yeah, it's just my mom,
Jesus.
and you're super tight. So it was just cool. It's not like I needed like, Mom, use your money to buy it. It was more like she came around to the concept. You know what I mean? It's not like she bought 40 Bitcoin. She's like, I'm in, like, hodl, let's fucking go.
And you never know, she might orange pill the chums at the next bridge session. So,
Well,
like, it's the network effect.
yeah, well, she's dead now, but I guess the reason I bring it up though is because my mom got into Bitcoin. She was in like still the first, 1 or 2% or not. I don't know what percent we're at now, but it's just cool to be like all these, tech savvy people, or a lot of us who fell backwards into it, and my mom. So good
Yeah,
job.
no, that's
Good
that's
going, Mom.
great. It's always cool when you see that actually happen. You can finally see it click. Someone starting to grasp it. Always an amazing thing.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. Like, if this thesis proves to be true, I know we're in a little down crab right now. Like, are we mentally ill and insane until it works, or are we just
Mm,
so cutting edge? You know what I mean? It's like any new industry, Steve Jobs or personal computing or whatever. Like, are
oh
those
yeah,
people just insane, mentally ill, and can't think about anything else? And then it makes them rich and famous, and then they're just super rich and super
yeah.
concentrated mentally. I don't know. That's an
Well,
interesting question.
it's interesting. I feel like you'll only always ever have that existential question. Like you'll revisit that question so many times until either you're proven correct or, never do. And I have personally, I feel like I've revisited that question many, many times, and each time it keeps on getting answered by, the next adoption, news piece or something monumental that happens. And every time
Yeah.
it reinforces more and more. And I'm like, from where I was, I don't know, 6, 7 years ago to now, it's like, imagine being here 5 or 6 years ago. Never would have imagined it. And so it becomes this, strengthening thesis that, I'm like, it can't be. It's too crazy otherwise.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah. So anyway, we can dive into this one.
Yeah, go for
We've
it.
already done a pretty good deep dive here,
I
which I
like
love.
Ski's question because
Great
that's
discussion.
really the most
Yeah,
important thing. Is like, yeah, how did you get orange
totally.
pill? But is
It's
there
a
more
fantastic one.
lore behind it?
It's really just as simple as, it's just a throwback to 1999's The Matrix series, which I think is personally one of the greatest trilogies, or I guess you could say now it's been expanded, but original trilogy movie series, out in Hollywood. It's just so much societal symbolism. It's really fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. Yeah, I think it's really as simple as that, and it's just, Shroomtoshi also made the humorous plugin that Shroomland is also a cheeky way of, kind of getting people into the Matrix and taking the red pill. So it's a good shameless plug, and it's nothing more complex than that. But
I'd like to make
yeah,
one comment. I would say The
yeah,
Matrix is probably, it's definitely in my top 2 or 3 movies. I think it's amazing.
yeah.
I would not say the trilogies is one of the best trilogies of all time. I think The Matrix
Mm.
is one of the best movies of all
You're
time.
talking about the original?
Yeah, the original is
I
just
mean,
so
number
good.
one,
The
yeah,
other
of
two
course.
gets a little like it's like I don't know if you needed a 2 and a 3 because one is
Maybe you could
so
argue, yeah, it gets a little long in the tooth after a
yeah.
while. You're like, okay, we're still doing you know, the unplugged.
The fights
But
are
yeah.
cool, but it's not like
Oh
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys are gonna make fun of me, but like when I was a kid, Star Wars, even as cheesy as Return of the Jedi got, it was still the completion of that trilogy. So you kind of count them all
Hmm.
together, even though Star Wars and Empire are far better movies. But like the Matrix, yeah,
Right.
2 and 3 are too long, and they're like the fight scenes are incredible, but the plot, you're like, what?
Mm.
What's going on here? I don't
It
understand.
stretches out a
A
bit.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm definitely due for a rewatch. Every now and then I've had like periodic run throughs of it, and I think it's been a while now, but yeah.
I love what he says. You take the MSM pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the orange pill, you stay in Shroomland, and I show you how deep the goes. So
There it goes.
I guess he
Got our
makes.
first
I,
typo.
I guess he makes. Yeah, I guess that is our first typo.
Love it.
Oh, it's even
Yeah,
better.
well,
It's you know what it is.
We
It's
got
like
you, Shroom Toshi.
it's like a
We
baseball
got you
card.
slipped up, bro.
Yeah.
maybe it ran out of data on
Yeah,
the
the back of the baseball card on this one is accidentally upside down. It's like it's even more rare now. We found
I was
the
gonna
first-
say we've got an error shroom that might add
Or
some
maybe
value.
it's just a glitch in the Matrix.
Oh, wait.
Nah, that kid, that's too good. He was drunk.
Wait, I just saw a black
Well,
cat
the
walk by right by my feet twice here. It must be nothing.
Wow. Well, the original line said, "You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes." So that sort of completes the phrase there. But yeah, I think just a great reference and a amazing scene. I wish I had kind of grabbed a clip for us to kind of play back. But if you have not seen The Matrix, go check it out.
Yeah,
Incredible,
must watch.
incredible movie. Yeah, especially if you like Bitcoin.
Sorry, what's an MSM pill? Oh my.
That's to be covered on next room episode.
Oh shit. Okay. Cool. All right. I like it. It's everyone's top 10. I would say. Ski Guy, you like this one? I assume.
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just encapsulates, perfect word for
Ooh, the puns are
everything
good.
we're doing here, everything we're about. It's just like this isn't even like we don't even have to spend time on it. It's that good. It's just yeah, clear winner, clear grail.
Yep. I love
And
it.
folks, if you're out there, as we always say, every episode we love when our audience members participate. Give us thumbs up or thumbs down when we come onto these shrooms. We want to know if you like them or you don't, and what are your reasons why. Feel free to comment in the chat, and we'll be doing our giveaway at the end. We tend to favor those who participate, so get on out there. But we can move on to our next, if you guys would like.
Yep. We have moved on. So WTF 71, this is
Yeah.
where I literally have 74 different charts to show you guys.
It's when we took a different route.
But I will say it's I went through them. It's fascinating. So Rolo,
Yeah.
why don't you walk us through what this means? But since there's so many of these, obviously we're not
Yeah.
going to go through every chart, but let's just get
Yeah, we'll shrink it down.
this is Kenny's favorite, which is pretty cool, or top one or two. Let's get
Yeah.
into it. So 71, obviously that's we know when we went off the gold standard, even though they had been cheating it since like the
Right.
Depression. So did we really go off it, or just admit that we went off it? But
Hmm.
either way, it didn't matter. It happened, right?
Right. Yeah, no, apparently there had been a time, I think a time even before 71 where we were off the gold standard before getting onto it. So we've had sort of historical precedence. But yeah, this is Ordinal 7223. It's called What the Fuck Happened in 1971. And personally, I know we talk a lot about aesthetics. I don't think a lot about names, and I think this is probably the coolest shroom name that there is in the collection. I love the name on this one. Let alone the aesthetics. I think it's super clean, really cool colorway, very unique. I 100% see why Kenny loves it, and it's definitely a love for me as well. A plus on that one. Do you guys like this one?
Yeah, it's all right. Can you explain to me the WTF uh better? I
Oh,
suppose like what?
it's as simple as just I think the shock factor from what has transpired since that time, and that ties into what we're gonna dig into here with the lore behind it. But there's a link. We could go into it. His description for this shroom is one of the most effective orange pilling tools out there. At what the fuck 1971, and there's a link there that says what the fuck happened in 1971.com. So we take us there. And basically, it's a series of 70 plus charts that really highlight the changes that have taken place since the US came off the
Wait,
gold
I
standard
could have just
officially.
pulled up this website and didn't have to load in 70 pictures. Dude,
Really, yeah, in a nutshell, yes.
these
So, thank you for all that
so
hard work you did
next
there.
time just post a link in the Discord.
I'll be
A friendly recommendation from
I'll
me,
be sure
please.
to do that. Yes. Um,
You
had to
dick.
squeeze the juice.
I'm like, wait, I recognize these charts. These are all the ones I just put in the show for 40 minutes this morning.
Thank you for taking the red pill. But basically, yeah, these charts they really highlight in more than just financial ways and political ways how society has changed since going off the gold standard. And it's striking that the associations, correlation obviously does not equate to causality, but the striking amount of correlations behind all of these changes that really you can see there are these inflection points that consistently occur at that 1971 start date, no matter the chart that you go through. Everything from dietary choices, political thought, you name it, it goes on and on.
And
So
that's
there are
compensation
financial,
went down.
yeah,
So that's inflation adjusted. So basically, people just
hmm
kept getting paid inflation adjusted. It was flat as their productivity, and obviously
correct.
back then their work hours go way up. Now we know we
Yep.
can have AI do like 90% of our jobs. So at least we can take a break too.
Yeah, 100%. And it's really everything from inequality metrics, family composition. They're just the breadth and scope of these charts. I think it really tells the story, and it's a pretty. I never knew that this existed, but this was the first time where I kind of said, when people talk about hyperinflation and they say, okay, well, why is money printing, why can that be such a bad thing, in its most extreme form? I think this is where you go and you say, here's the data that's hard to argue with. Go check out this website and you'll see there are a lot of things here that are kind of hard to argue with. And it pretty much ties into a point I was trying to make in the last episode where, through all of this excessive quantitative easing or tightening, we create these painful expansions and contractions in the monetary supply that kind of shock the system
Right.
in so many more ways of life than we actually think, and particularly when not done efficiently. So our society, it's materially, I think, been impacted by this, and there's so much evidence baked into this curated collection of charts to really back it up. And that's the first time I've really had a good visual depiction of that. You always hear people talk about it, but this is like, it's really good graphical depiction of how things have changed since then, and it gives you a much clearer picture. So
Yeah, one of the things I got from just going through all the charts this morning, and when you copied them from the website that I quickly, easily pulled up here for us to talk about, was
Yes.
that the amount of like the whole focus of people in this kind of consumer culture. It was more, it used to be about like, hey, the CEOs, like everybody after World War II, the CEOs made good money, but it was nothing compared to what they make compared to the average worker now. Like you see these charts here, they're really teeny, but like this blue line going up and the orange and red and all of these are really saying at some point the CEOs kind of kept a lot in the top earners, and obviously people inherit a lot of money and just have investments, are keeping a lot more, reaping a lot more of the rewards than the rank and file. And, one of the most important things from all these charts that I saw was that the importance to people of like success is really, as we've gotten closer to 2025 from the 70s, it's all about how much money you make. And
Financial.
I'm sure Ski God will have comments on that, but it's less communal. Not that I'm saying communal, but less like the distribution is spread out a lot differently. And I think people are out more for themselves now in society.
Totally. I mean, we talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and all the things that we kind of need in life to sort of make us happy, the basic things that humans need. And I think it's almost like you kind of like flip that pyramid upside down sometimes in some regards. And other things that people used to refer to as metrics of happiness have kind of fallen to the wayside. Family, health and other means of happiness were not the top priority in that survey, clearly. But it is interesting. It's that has shifted over time.
Yeah, you're right. This shows that the amount of both spouses in the workforce to make ends meet has gone way up. And you're right. Like, it's so funny how it's not funny, but it's amazing how the gold, going off the gold standard, I'm sure there's many other factors at play, but it really is quite stark, showing in the early 70s how everything started happening. And it sounds like people had to work way harder and get that double salary just to like live in the nice neighborhood, to send your kids to the nice school.
Totally. I don't know. Again, you say correlation is not causality, but what other major seismic changes happen at that exact data point? And so if someone were to go back and maybe look at all of the landmark changes that happened at that time, if you could find something else that was a good candidate, sure, I'll entertain it. But that seems to be the major change and the inflection point that's common among all those graphs. So it's very, very compelling, unless somebody presents to you a better argument. But
right, this chart's right here is good. I know everything's small, but just the line going up. I love this one. It's a price per can of Campbell condensed tomato soup on sale.
Yeah,
so it's the discounted price each year of basically a can of tomato soup, like your basic staple throughout, since 1898 beyond. Now, of course, it would be those really shitty ramen noodles that my kids love, that come in those little square packs that you drop in the water. But look at the inflation. I mean, it's like 1972 and it just hockey sticks, right? So inflation's gone crazy, and these charts above are basically showing here's GDP, this top one, and then the red one is men's income over time. The females has kept up with GDP, but I suspect that's just more women are in the workforce, and
but there's still that widening.
Right, exactly. So
and then another really interesting one I thought was I think it's probably a little bit later down towards the bottom, but number of hyperinflation events over time, like per different countries. There's this massive spike all of a sudden past 1971. You just start seeing all of these event occurrences popping up for countries sustaining hyperinflation. It's kind of wild. And I guess maybe that speaks to something we talked about last time, where the US economy has all of these inherent ties into the rest of the world, and things are impacted with sort of like a trickle down effect, or butterfly effect, however you want to.
Yeah, before I was going to keep scrolling, but this one caught my eye this morning and now, and I'd love to get Ski God's thoughts. The price of a house now is absolutely insane. And we know that like BlackRock and these companies are like buying up houses and renting them, which is making it tougher for people. It's squeezing them even more. But
Mm.
look at that. I don't know what year it just went nuts. It looks like it was, I assume that's 2008 or maybe late 90s when it's not even a hockey stick. It's just a straight line up. Any thoughts on just the housing market, Ski God? Like, is that something?
Well, zero interest rate policy, man.
Okay,
Like
there you go.
post
Mhm.
GFC,
Yeah.
lower rates, like
Got it.
basically you can just infuse all your fucking money into there, the tax haven, um, up only technology that is those houses. So um, yeah, it's an interesting one. I just there's probably a lot of people that say, you know, once we went off the gold standard and all this stuff started, it's going to be like the end of the empire slowly over time or whatever. But um, to me, this is how America became so exceptional. The K-shape is going to continue. The wealthier are going to get wealthier. The poorer people are going to get poorer. Power will corrupt. And
Hmm.
I've gotten over it's kind of cool to have Bitcoin as like another option, but like, if you're in the dance and the music's still playing or whatever, it's just like you got to figure out how to. If you're gonna live in America, if you're gonna complain, you got a couple options: either dance or get the fuck out, right? Go home.
Well, my
So
contention
go to a
was
different country.
it's like last time, like that we may do the dance, but hopefully with the improvements in technology, AI, general multi systems, understanding, and better systems engineering will kind of get a rein on it, and you can do the dance, but maybe it'll be a little bit more of an efficient dance and not get too crazy and out of
Maybe
hand, but we'll see.
I'm a little cynical on it. I think it'll
Yeah.
improve the overall quality of life, sure, but I still think the gap between like the good life and the high or low, I guess, on the bar will improve. So you can point, they can all point to that and be like, your life's getting better. See, prices are low. Like I did this for you, we did
Yeah.
that, but really the rich are just gonna extend their lead.
And to your point, there's only so much that mathematics, logic, and software are going to control for human behavior, irrationality, and just the whole, unpredictable nature of how humans make their choices. So, end of the day, it's a very complex system, and you're right. For a long time, that's how it's been. So,
Yeah. So
By the way,
roll.
quick side note, do you think it's crazy that they've taken all of recorded human history in the last couple of years and basically put it onto a zip drive for all of us to access for like free, essentially? It's pretty crazy, huh?
well, that'll be good when you have your Neuralink plugged into your,
That's
cerebrum,
right.
and you can just tap into, hey, what
hmm
happened, 2010?
Yeah, it'll be
How's
weird
how's
when
it going?
we're at the end of our life and the grandkids are just like, "Daddy or Grandpa, I got a new
It'll
Neuralink."
be a good time to go. It'll be a good time to go. That's much earlier for you,
Right.
Blue, but for us, it'll be a pretty good time.
It's true. I'm pretty healthy though. But our grandkids will be like, "Dad, Grandpa, I know kung fu." Little Matrix reference.
Everything goes back to the Matrix, huh?
Yeah. So this
Right.
Rolo, this hyperinflation
Yeah, that's
chart.
the
So
one
it
right
looks
there.
like 1916 through 21. So obviously you had World War One, which had a lot of, and
Hmm.
I assume, yeah, we got Germany. So we got a lot of the European countries. Obviously in World War
Right.
Two, a lot of people got blown out. But then in 71, it was pretty
Just
slow
had that
trickle.
massive, yeah,
And then in
spike there.
91, you just get like, I guess, is that 86 to 91? Yeah. So like 86 to 91, is that the Reagan era? It just goes
Probably.
bonkers
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
91. And I'm not seeing one in '08, which shocks the hell out of me, except for the little red one at the
Mm.
bottom, which is Zimbabwe. So, I'm actually surprised there aren't more. But what was why was this one so resonant with you?
I just think because I was making the point about how, hyperinflation episodes, inflation is one thing, but hyperinflation is another. And when things kind of get lopsided, however you choose to maybe define hyperinflation, it's just the point that, with monetary contraction and monetary expansion, we have these periodic episodes where sometimes it's painful, for society. Venezuela was a good example last time, or Argentina, those types of events when things just get materially crazy to the point that they impact ways of life. And so seeing a lot of those episodes really like spike at one particular point in time is just interesting. So I thought that was just an interesting chart for that reason.
Oh, this one's awesome. All major
Yeah.
currencies have depreciated over the past century relative to gold. So that little gold line with the
Mm,
arrow you see there, that's just gold being gold. And it's everything relative to that. And look at it, it's just like they're trying, especially who's that red one? Is that the yen? Yeah, it looks like the yen. And they fight, and eventually it's just like, you're not the global reserve currency anymore, or whatever,
cliff.
and you just die. So,
Yeah.
I don't know why the US would be any different, but we with stable coins and if we curb spending, I know the strategy's weird right now, but maybe we can prolong it. But it just seems like now with the introduction of Bitcoin, having that off ramp sure feels good right now.
Yeah. So, to all our folks out there, anyway, if you get a chance, check this website out. It's very interesting. What the fuck happened in 1971.com? Treasure trove of data.
WTF happened in 1971.com. Yep.
Yeah, never knew about it.
Yeah,
But
this is great.
yeah, we could kick off our next one.
Sure, man.
Yeah, we got Ordinal 871. This next one's a little more lighthearted. It's Bitcoin Talk. And iconic shroom. I think this one's really beautiful. It's a good classic Bitcoin colorway. Love the orange, gray, black motif, as I've stated many times. And I again do argue these Bitcoin logo themed shrooms. I think they seem to command a relative premium when it comes to sales. And so, for example, 10 months ago, this beauty sold for about 2.42 Bitcoin on the secondary. And then for comparison, if you look around it, Venezuela went for 1.85. Open Dime went for 2, and I think the hot wallet was 2.25 around that time. So this stuck out. Somebody really wanted it. And what do you guys think? Do you like it?
I do.
Yeah, this one is this. Yeah, go ahead.
Pretty
Go through.
No, go ahead, Kenny.
pretty hot.
Yeah, this one's cool for sure. I think the educational ones are super important in the collection of the Bitcoin shrooms. Um, I remember I once asked Shroom Toshi what his like why did he create the shrooms?
Hmm.
And one of his main answers was he wanted to leave something that would help people get onboarded to Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And I think that's why
that
these
tracks.
educational Bitcoin shrooms are so important because they literally give you everything you need to know about Bitcoin, or at least if you don't know something, you'll know where to find it with the educational Bitcoin shrooms. So I think these are super important. I love every single one of them. And yeah, these are cool.
Absolutely. It's a great point, Kenny. And like in the last room, as I was saying, like if you actually went, these are like the ultimate orange pill collection. If you actually went shroom by shroom and you literally just followed each one and kind of tried to dig along the lines of each one, you'll find here, and maybe that's also part of why we're doing the series to help expand on that. If you actually want to go through each shroom to try to learn about Bitcoin, you will do well and learn a ton. It really is all there, like Shuntoshi kind of intended to leave all these clues in a sequential sequence. He really did a great job of outlining the thematic categories that you would kind of track, starting from the basics and the fundamentals, working all the way to, pop culture and everything else on top of it as like icing on the cake. It really is something. So I think it's a great point.
Yeah, this one's cool. I love the anything with orange and the bubbles and the it's got the cool shroom head, but the bee is definitely cool, and obviously it's a nice homage. I know you're getting lore in a second, but it's just it's a nice homage to an era where you know we talk about now how we have kind of NFTs or ordinals, sorry, runes to a lesser extent maybe, but there's these things that create groups for us. I know they're all down right now, so a lot of people are kind of sour on them, but that stickiness is kind of what makes this space fun now. And I think that social layer
Yeah.
has actually allowed Bitcoin. I think it was going to thrive anyway, but it allows you to thrive
Right.
faster. Like I told you in the early
Totally.
days when it was
Yeah.
up, I was like, hey, me and my dog, it's up. And when it was down, I'd be like, it's down, but I'm going to hold anyway. But now we can talk about art. We can talk about, memes that are eventually going to go to zero. There's all these games to play now while we're just kind of pontificating on this stuff. And I think that's why like that Miami roof deck was just so fun. It was just like, we're all interested in the space. Most of us here have said they're probably in it for the long term. Ski God, I know you accepted. You're out as soon as you make your first 420 million, whatever it is.
His ghost will stick around.
His ghost will stick around. Yeah. I think Ski God says that. And I guarantee as he gets older in life, he'll be like the most sentimental of all of us. Be like, those times were the best. I love you.
He'll
fuckers.
soften up.
I see that.
Give me a hug, Blue. Come here, you old man. Oh I heard something crack.
Have you heard
okay,
that
buddy?
term? That term, these are the good old days,
Exactly.
You should be present and realizing you're living through it right now because, guys, I don't know if you checked the price, but it's over.
It's not over. It's funny.
Over.
Just so everyone knows, Ski God is he's my FUD depressed low barometer. So like when he's out of runes, that's when I'm like, ooh, I bet there's some good things to buy
You
now.
can't get out of runes. It's bad technology. You can't sell. Okay? It's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
fell
say
for the trap.
What's Billy at right now? It's like 7 or 8 million. Like Gizmo's at like 2 million. Even Dog, like typing in all caps does not save the day here. Dog is at like 180. So I think it's funny. I think Odin Fun is the new mousetrap.
It's hilarious.
It's a better mousetrap, and are those going to go to zero? Yeah, probably eventually. But for now we ride.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That when the rubber meets the road, the fun you have is the communities you join and the moments you create, and that extra layer, like you said, is really that's a value add, and that's a reason to stick around, and that's why we're doing what we're doing right now. And we have the conferences we have. Meetups are fun. People love geeking out, talking about shop, and that's where it's at. So price be damned. We'll see.
It'll be interesting, like in Vegas, if obviously we have a couple months, but if Bitcoin is just ripping, that conference is going to be so packed. And if Bitcoin is like at 74,
it's in the gutter.
All the lurkers,
so
the lurkers are going back to their day jobs. Like they're a little less cocky with their boss. Or like, yes, sir. Yeah, I can stay late tonight. That's cool. As opposed to like, fuck
the
you.
tone's a little more somber.
Jenny Wealth, bitches.
It's amazing, how that vibe can totally shift. We'll see, I guess, when we get out there in May.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'm in it. It's fun, and like hanging out with you guys and so many the artists and the coders and the snoops of the world are just like I think some of the most interesting people are in this space. I mean, are we all slightly mentally ill? It's possible. I don't know, but I think at some point the thesis will prove out. It might be the day after Blue dies when Ski God is 55 and he's going through his second midlife crisis. Apparently he's having his first one now, but I'm here for it. So if it's the day after I die, you know what? That'll be the legacy I left.
So be it. Yeah. And like we are kind of tapped into here, that it's really just the modality of social gathering that's changed since that time. We've got spaces now. We have video chats. We've got X. We've got all the good stuff. But back then, it was just BitcoinTalk.org and Reddit and a few other things. Just your computer screen, and that's the way it was done back in the day. And that's what this shroom is all about. Just a little, like you said, homage to a different time. And that's what this Bitcoin Shroom is. So
yeah, absolutely. So I want to give a huge shout out to a friend of mine, an old friend of mine who I met at a wedding like 20 years ago, Chad. He's over at Kraken. But
Oh,
these things that you guys never comment on when people make comments, and I do the little heart signs. Everything I
I
get,
didn't know you could do that.
I learned from Chad. Yeah, he's like he's kind of like in Kraken. He's an educator there, just one of the smartest people I've ever met.
I love it.
And it's just I love. He's like probably the most tech savvy guy I've ever met. But he's like, dude, no, you just like color in, you get emoji and you put them on a popsicle stick. And dude, that's how you acknowledge people while you keep your train of thought. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking genius. So
That's great.
that's where the popsicle sticks come from. Like, I got this one. Yeah, that one's just sweet. So anyway,
I was wondering how you're doing. I was like, where are these coming from? I thought it was literally like the screen, digitally forming the emojis. That's incredible.
no, it's from me taking my daughter's old glue stick and some big ass popsicle sticks and printing a bunch of
Oh,
emojis.
that's too good,
And I
man.
showed my daughter the emoji I printed. Like, there's a couple like this one. She's like, Dad, nobody uses that emoji. What does it even mean? What are you pinching salt? I'm like, no, that's like it's perfect. She's like, Dad, stop doing your show. You're so old. So
I love how you've
Ski God, my
literally,
daughter
yeah,
does agree with you.
gone from digital to analog the other way, but made it even better. That's incredible.
Exactly. So Chad, thumbs up to you, man.
Yeah, shout out to you, Chad, and thanks for joining
you
us.
get all the popsicle sticks right here. So, anyway,
Too good.
back to the deep conversation of we're down, but it's going to go up at some point. But we really don't care because it's about the culture. So fuck it.
Well, with that said, yeah, lore time, ladies and gentlemen. So Shroom Toshi left our description for this shroom, bitcointalk.org, a trove of technical resources and thoughtful discussions from the very early days of Bitcoin. And then our link to bitcointalk.org. And so, yeah, as many are probably aware, bitcointalk.org, one of the most historically significant online forums in Bitcoin's early development, still active today, but not quite what it was back in the day. And, I actually didn't know this, but it was created by Satoshi himself back in 2009. So it really is as OG as it gets. And served as a primary hub for Bitcoin discussions. There was technical development, community engagement, you name it. People talked about it. And, a lot of key moments that it went through. Bitcoin's first public release in '09. There were posts about that. First Bitcoin transaction, Bitcoin Pizza Day, all sorts of discussions on scaling, SegWit, Lightning Network, you name it. It's there. And basically, the emergence of altcoins and other marketplaces, other forms of Bitcoin and forks. And so, not no longer the de facto central hub for Bitcoin development, but very much ingrained in Bitcoin's history and a relevant forum for a very long time to come. So pretty cool piece of history there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
This
Yeah, we
one,
can
this
kick off
one's a
next.
winner. I've never done a
It's
top 10
yeah.
list and I probably won't. This one would probably be in it just because I know that when I did the negotiation with Rock with Shroom for the big one,
Yeah.
one of the guys in our group got this one, and it's
Oh,
like
nice.
when I picked mine, I was like, oh, I got the best ones, and I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good one too.
It's
Like,
pretty
you
hot.
see what the other
Yeah.
ones grab, you're like, oh, that has historical significance. Like, damn, what was I thinking?
Right.
So Rolo, yeah, take us through this one.
Yeah, man. Ordinal number 760 r/Bitcoin. And what a homage as well. It, like you said, I think for me it hits a lot of the check marks. Really clean, really good looking shroom with a classic kind of Bitcoin logo and theme, which I think again adds that price premium, but also you've got that Reddit, the symbolic Reddit
Right.
icon behind it. And like I was saying, with the last example, this one sold for 2.9 Bitcoin 11 months ago, and there was a real market premium there. The range around it, I think the next two to three shrooms around that were 1.85 to 2.25. So this one again stuck out and really did command a premium. So I'm noticing a recurring pattern here, but yeah. The description for this guy, a trove of degenerate memes and heated discussions from the early days of Bitcoin. And then reddit.com/r Bitcoin. So, r Bitcoin, it's been, like we said, another one of the most influential forums for Bitcoin discussion since early days. And again, really played a crucial role in shaping narratives, helping with adoption, and just acting as a general battleground for any ideological debates or conflicts within Bitcoin community itself. And just short breakdown of his significance. Early 2010s, I think it was around the time when our Bitcoin was really a hub for a lot of the pioneers and developers in the space. There were basically two camps, people used bitcointalk.org and people used our Bitcoin. And as I understand it, that also broke down according to where you were on one side or the other of the scaling debate. You had your big blockers and small blockers. Um, it wasn't without controversy. There was a gentleman, I think by the name of Famos, who was the forum moderator for this forum and was at a certain time censoring posts regarding scaling. So it went through its phase of controversy, and ultimately it still stands today, and it has become a hub of Bitcoin memes, um, iconic charts and images that have been shared over time. The whole mimetic concept of HODL really had a central role there that was shared. I think that centered on a drunken rant on Bitcoin Talk, but it was really circulated on our Bitcoin a lot. And so our phrase HODL was really propagated through our Bitcoin. So a lot of history with this one. Led to the birth of our BTC later on, which is a rival subreddit. I think after the Bitcoin Cash hard fork, but again, this one's it's a classic and I think a great homage. Over 5 million members now. I think it's served over time. So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. Like
I'll,
you get lost in this. Go ahead, Ski God.
Oh yeah, it goes on and on.
I'll give you my weekly opposite take here. I fucking hate Reddit. Don't care. Irrelevant to me. I'll pass. It looks more like a teapot to me. Don't really doesn't scream
Now your cup
premium
of
at
tea?
all. Nice. I would
Mm.
say that cup of tea belongs on the floor. Just the floor, floor, floor.
Wow. All right.
Someone was willing to scoop this off the floor, if you will.
Well,
But
look, there's got to be bad traders out there, right? And I'm one of them. So
fair enough.
Ski Guy,
Some of
weren't you
us have
making
bad
fun of me a
taste.
couple weeks ago for not getting in on the Solana meme coin action? I said I was too stupid. I'm like, dude, I'll fail miserably. Now everybody like is Solana even trading meme coins anymore?
Oh yeah.
all it took is Blue getting a little sweet taste of like a blue coin or whatever, and all of a sudden he's like a meme coiner now. Everybody falls prey.
Hold on,
Everybody
let's take a
falls
look at the
prey.
blue coin, shall we? So I'm glad you brought that up because this is really important. So I am the number 5 holder of my coin, but more
Wow.
importantly, I am the number 2 liquidity provider. So if you come in out of Blue Toshi token, uh, then I will provide the liquidity to get you in and out. I will say I did it. Like if you look
Thank
at
me
it,
later.
just to my defense, uh, I created it because I interviewed Bob on the show on Blue Node, and I was intrigued. And then I saw he had these achievements. Um, where are the achievements? I think I have to expand it, but he had achievements. I'm like, oh, there'll be a coin drop at some point. So I just like create a token, buy 10 tokens, and you could literally spend 62 cents because it's all on ICP, and then it's super fast. It happens immediately. And then I got to level 2 and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I didn't look at it for 2 weeks. And then China took over, and the Chinese love the Blue Toshi Bitcoin, and look at this, number 10 in volume right now. So
Oh man.
33 Bitcoin. So it's done $2.7 million in volume. And yeah, here's the chat that we get into every day. I'm not sure what everyone's saying generally, but they're saying something. But I did say, I say
They're
GM.
saying we're wash trading the fuck out of this and laundering our money.
They probably are, and
That's
I'm
what they're
stupid enough.
saying.
I'm holding, like, I will round trip it to 0. I am screwed. But I created it. If you'll notice, it's called Blue Toshi's first Odin token. It wasn't quite going for the meme ability, but it's been a fun ride for sure.
Your story arc sounds like Ron from Ron's basement. There's a meme coin on Solana. It's called Unicorn Fart Dust, but this you got a boomer who was like, I'm just gonna drop a meme coin for fun and see what happens. And basically someone caught on to that. They kept posting it, it just blew up, and everyone was like, the guy just didn't expect anything, but it just went crazy. And so hopefully, same thing will happen with Blue Token.
Well, all right, it's number 10 in volume, and
Already has been.
Odin's
Yeah.
getting a ton of folks, and I've
Right.
already I did 2 video spaces when I interviewed Bob. We had like 3,500 live listeners, and now it's up to 5,000. I put it into CapCut, and I did simple Chinese Mandarin subtitles at the bottom, and then I aired it at 7 in the morning my time. I literally woke up, got out of bed,
That's
and
wild.
hit play and did a repeat, and it had like 7,500 viewers. So like we look at our numbers, like we're probably all psyched today. We got 400, which is good for this space. Like it's dead.
Hey,
Everyone's gone, and I see those numbers. I'm like, there's a market that's completely untapped.
that's a
So
lot of eyes.
I'm
Yeah.
in. The Germans love David Hasselhoff, but the Chinese love Satoshi. So,
You love to hear it.
which means I'm going to tag.
Well,
They're seeing this, or like that arrogant prick, and they just sell it. But you know what? That's fine. I'll round trip it for the team.
the Bogdanov brothers have called in.
Exactly.
Sell.
Yeah. What do you
But
think,
yeah, no,
Kenny?
too.
I assume you like this one.
Yeah, for me, I got really late into the whole Reddit thing. I was never a Reddit guy and probably am still not. But I just finished reading The Block Size Wars, which Rollo you just mentioned, and a lot
Yeah.
of the discussions around the block size wars were held on the Bitcoin Reddit. And there
Yes,
was a lot of very, very interesting insights and key discussions there. So I think
for sure.
it is probably the number one exchange of information and discussion regarding these kind of topics.
Yeah,
As you guys know, the block size wars was like pivotal moments in Bitcoin history, probably
very
the
much
most
so. Yeah.
important phase of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
The do or
yeah, I
die
mean,
moments.
exactly. And that's like one of the most important things, which why we have Bitcoin like it is today. So um of course there's a lot of shit posting on Reddit and like some of the
Wouldn't be
other
Reddit without it.
yeah, some of the other like forums like subreddits are like pure retarded is like so funny to even just you could come across like some so weird things. But overall, I think it's quite cool, and I definitely think it 100% deserves a Bitcoin shroom. And I'm also half British, so the teapot is kind of as essential there.
Hey, we like that.
You're half what?
Half British.
Oh, cool. So we might be related.
Yeah, maybe.
Submit those 23andMe test kits.
Yeah.
Never know what you'll find.
I'm more Scottish. Very cool. All right. Is there more lore here, or do we go to the next one? I like that. Was a good combo.
That's really it. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great shroom. And I agree, Kenny. It deserves a place in Bitcoin history. And it is still today part of it. But
You know what's interesting?
uh,
Like some of them you
yeah.
scroll to, like obviously this one it's a bigger helmet, so it's bigger, but even
Oh, yeah.
proportionally
Audible.
it's bigger. Like some of these are just
Hmm.
they're just huge.
The
It,
sizes are a little, yeah. The size of the actual shroom face, too. I know what you're saying.
I wonder if when he resized all of them, some of them got like, because even my Blinky one, I think it's a hair
Hmm.
bigger. Like I think the borders are a little tighter, so it appears bigger sometimes.
I noticed that there are little scale changes and
Mhm.
subtleties. It's cool. Yeah, this one I adore this shroom. This is ordinal number 868, Bitcoin Audible.
First
I
time
think
he's
it's
used the
such
word
a
adore, everybody. This one,
uh-huh.
listen up. This one's important.
Write it down. It's just it's unquestionably one of my favorites. It's so big, outsized, in your face, and really symmetric. And I love the over the ear headphone cans. Really cool color. I just think it's such a unique shroom. I actually used to think it was like a boxing, like a kickboxing protector or something like that. And then I actually read about it and said Audible. But I just think it looks really cool, and it's a 10 of 10 for me. But interesting market factoids, it was one of the last privately sold OTC shrooms from Shintoshi to an undisclosed buyer. I don't know who took it, but it was one of, I think, a few that went towards the end, including Ski God's umbrella shroom that you see there. So just really cool piece. I didn't know what it stood for, but I could see it kind of dividing some folks. What do you guys think about this one?
Looks
Might be
like
a love
you.
it or hate
Looks
it.
like you right now.
Got the cans on.
This was the one I was deciding between this and Umbral. I would have probably picked this one had the sizing been different.
Mm,
I don't love the like, super blown up look. If it was more like the teapot kettle size with the headphones, I would have been I love the color black.
pretty big
So
and bold.
like black and white is that would have been a sucker for me, but yeah, it's funny. I had to pick between the shroom that was too big or the shroom that was too small. And I had to go with the tinier one.
We could have guessed that.
It's not about
Uh,
the size.
I know some shrooms are too big for some to handle, ski, but that there's a collector out there who
It's
can at
about the
least.
motion of the pixels, you know?
I thought it was a pirate hat when I first saw it, but now that like the headphones, I'm surprised at how big they are. Or like
Big set of
unless they're
cans.
just I saw like a pirate hat with like big old like R sideburns or something, but it sounds like
It would have been good like Pirate Bay. You remember Pirate Bay?
Oh
yeah.
It would
yeah.
have been really
The
good. And
CEO actually just died yesterday. The plane crash.
jeez,
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
Huh.
It was odd that you mentioned it. It's at the universe
Weird how
speaking
that
out.
works, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But the I thought it was an interesting design choice, like you were kind of saying, like you got the huge headphones over the top of it, but why sort of like fill out the rest with the black underneath the headphones and make it this massive shroom head when you could do, I guess, like the classic just clean shroom with like some headphones over it. But I don't know. So it's a weird design choice, and for that, I just kind of love it. It's a bit of an oddball, but I'm an oddball.
Yeah. We concur. So what's the lore on
Yeah.
this one?
Yeah, so this one I had no idea what it was about. It says, some people like to have words of love whispered to their ear. Everyone likes to have words of Bitcoin whispered to their ear by at the guy Swan. So Bitcoin Audible, it's a podcast that's hosted by a gentleman named Guy Swan. Sorry, Swan, not Schwan, which has played a significant role in Bitcoin education and its discourse. And it's largely focused on reading and narrating some of the most influential articles and essays, as well as research papers out in the Bitcoin space. And what this guy does is he essentially narrates, uh, you know, um, Audible podcasts that you can find on iOS and which would otherwise be readable elsewhere if you don't like to go ahead and read pieces yourself. So you can just put it on and go to sleep and let it play. And people seem to love this. And some have even referred to it as Bitcoin ASMR. And I think that kind of ties into the reference here, saying that it's a joke, to how Bitcoiners love to have Bitcoin factoids whispered into their ear. But yeah, all humor aside, his narrations, they've made really high quality Bitcoin content, much more accessible to listeners. And for that reason, it's touched, a lot of users. And um, you could say, on the theme of research and education, it's played a big part in distributing Bitcoin technical knowledge out to folks, making it much more digestible. So pretty cool piece.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
What do you think, Kenny?
Maybe it's because he's got a big brain. Big
could be,
brain.
could be. We had the brain shroom before, and this could be the one with just the skull cap on top of it. But it's a good piece.
Moving
Who
on.
we don't know who has that. You said it was an undisclosed purchase.
I'm not sure who took it. Yeah, someone bought it privately, but I think it's a
Hmm.
great one.
Agreed. We all recognize this symbol.
Oh yeah. So this is Ordinal 878 Bitcoin Magazine. I'm a fan of the colorway. think it's an accurate depiction of the magazine's logo.
Hmm.
The one thing I would say about it, I'm not sure if I favor how busy and asymmetric the actual logo that kind of juts out from it is. As opposed to like making it just a clean classic shroom with the logo inside. So I actually again kind of had fun with some editing and design and like kind of like I did with the volcano shroom.
Yeah.
I made an alternate reality version that you could check out and it's just like what would it have been like if you went clean shroom and put the logo in the middle and I don't know. You could argue one way or the other. It's just a personal preference thing, but
They're
figured I'd just have a
definitely
little fun.
both cool. I would
Yeah,
say that especially if I had like worked at Bitcoin Magazine ever, remember
right.
Vitalik started there as a writer. He was the head Bitcoin writer for when
Yeah.
he was like 18 or 19
It's,
before
often
spinning
forget
off,
that.
yeah, to Ethereum. But no,
Right.
no, this one's super cool. And remember too, Bitcoin Magazine has been very supportive. Maybe at first they were indifferent, but they've always been
For
supportive of
ordinals.
ordinals. And I know
Yeah.
one of the guys, I just had a conversation with someone. One of the guys was Javi, you'll like this, Rolla. He's very into counterparty. So they get it. Like they're
Oh,
not,
super
they
cool.
just had their, my daughter and wife saw it at the grocery store and they picked up, was it late last summer?
Yeah.
The, I think it was called the spam issue, but it was obviously like the ordinals issue. But
The ordinals. Yeah.
I know
I get the
I know
reference.
Casey and Aaron are tight with those guys, but they've been very supportive of the space of our space, the ordinal space, the entire time. So they, I don't maybe they kept quiet early, but they were never in the Bitcoin Maxi Luke Dash Jr. camp at all.
Right. Well, that's awesome. I've heard loosely they're avid supporters. I didn't know specifically how much, but that's very cool to hear. And I think another cool fact about this shroom, ST gifted it actually to the current CEO of Bitcoin Magazine. I think that's David Bailey. I'm not 100% sure because there was a takeover, or there's an acquisition in 2014, I think it was. I think the magazine, yeah, it started in 2012. So there was a change in leadership, but I believe that's who would have maybe received it. Um, but
I think
cool
you
thing
are
to do by
correct.
ST. Yeah, yeah. But we could do lower time for this one. Word of advice to at Playboy: if you really want to capture your reader's attention, hire at Aaron Van W from at Bitcoin Magazine. And a major commemorative monument, once again, when it comes to research and education, I think. It's none other than one of Bitcoin's most influential and long-standing Bitcoin-focused print magazines. You don't see that too often in the digital space, but as we said, it was founded in 2012 by Vitalik, like you mentioned, and a gentleman, Mihai Alisi, who I was unaware of. And it's again played a really critical role in Bitcoin's history, serving as a primary source of news, research, thought leadership since very, very early days. And um, yeah, it's had all sorts of guest writers, from Parker Lewis to Safety and Amos to Michael Saylor, you name it. It's well known for deep dive research pieces, really good guides and analyses that help both new and seasoned Bitcoiners kind of break things down from technical, economic, and philosophical aspects. So, just a really core part of Bitcoin's history overall. And unlike many, crypto publications, it's exclusively laser focused on Bitcoin. They don't dabble in alts, they don't dabble in anything else. It's just pure Bitcoin, which I think is respectable. Now, the last part about Aaron Van W, who is that and why are they mentioned in the tagline? Aaron Van Weerdem, he's a respected journalist and a Bitcoin researcher, best known for his work in Bitcoin Magazine and has covered some of the most important technical and political aspects in Bitcoin, including things like SegWit, Taproot, Lightning Network, mining, security, really you name it. He's covered it, and his work is very widely praised for just the level of depth and accuracy, combined with how digestible he makes those research pieces to people. So, why the Playboy reference? I think probably a humorous nod to how good his Bitcoin journalism is, and Playboy is really well known for making attention grabbing content, if you will. So that
Right.
that joke I think falls upon the fact that Bitcoiners might be more interested in reading Playboy if it actually talked about Bitcoin. So I thought that was a pretty
At
humorous
my old
inclusion.
job in my MTV days,
Yeah.
we every year we do the white elephant or whatever, where you the the regifting thing, and the
All
best
right.
gift I ever saw given was a braille copy of a
Oh my
1970s
God.
Playboy magazine.
That's too good.
So one of the women's husband I worked
That's
one
hilarious.
of the women I worked with, her husband worked for Playboy, and he got
Yeah.
one of those. I'm like, I have to have one. And I actually looked it up a couple of years ago, and they go for like thousands of dollars. Like it's just
That's crazy,
such a
man.
classic. Be like,
If you had, you're saying like an
oh
intact
yeah.
original tactile feedback for you.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
I mean, I will
So
say
funny,
with
man.
Playboy, the articles are that was a really good, well written magazine. But
Yeah.
I want to get back, Rolo, to your, because I just started noticing
Yeah.
like you're a good designer. Like the one that Shroom did versus
Wish I
what you
could
did, the B.
say consistently.
You've got the B way more defined here in the Bitcoin magazine. I didn't even notice that before. That looks really, really cool. Whereas
Appreciate
the
it.
real one is like the three lines. I assume I didn't even notice in their logo is their logo. Oh, their logo is more matching Shrimtoshi's. So did you just
I think it's a little closer to that. Yeah.
got it? So it's like it's kind of like two sides of a Rubik's cube, but you took
Yes.
liberty and kind of made the B. I think, dude, I think they need to take yours. Yours is like cooler.
It's only, I guess, two of, yeah, number two of number two. So I'll have to keep working at it, but I appreciate the comments and feedback. Thank you. I'll keep making my sub
All
collection.
right, good to know. Good to know. What do you think, Kenny?
Yeah,
You a big
that's
Bitcoin magazine guy?
Um, I haven't looked into it too deeply, to be honest, but I think it's really cool that they did feature the Bitcoin Shrooms in one of the editions. I 100% still need to get a copy somehow of that. That whole thing was brought up by Rich Wake when the whole
Hmm.
OMB when the OMB was featured in the newspaper.
Mm.
I completely missed
That was
that.
cool.
So
Yeah.
um I think it's a really cool nod to the Bitcoin Shrooms from Bitcoin Magazine. So yeah, I mean it's awesome to have such a big supporter behind the Bitcoin Shrooms. I think that they featured Taproot Wizards and also I think Rocks were also in the spam edition, right?
Yeah, if I didn't have to rip the headphones out, I would go grab it. But again, this is an old man moment. I went to open the magazine and it was like black fonts on like dark blue. Like they really did a lot of creativity with the thing. I'm like, this font is so small and it's dark writing on a dark background. I couldn't even tell you what's on there. I can't read it. Yeah.
This will be a good little thing to research for us. We'll do some deep diving on that. See if we could find it.
No, I got it here. I just like I said,
Oh, you do?
I could if
Oh,
you
great.
guys chat, I'll go rip the headphones out and I'll go grab it. Just you guys talk. You want me to go to the next one or keep talking about
Sure,
this one?
yeah. Yeah, we can kick off the next one.
All right, let me pull it up for you. Oh, this one's interesting. My 2 cents
Thank
before I
you.
pull the headphones out. I
Please.
love the TV set stuff. I love the Technicolor Young. I don't
Yeah.
know if I'd put it in my top 30. Is it 33 that we put it in? I don't know if I put it there,
Mm,
but I do like it. It's unique, it's different, and I grew up watching a lot of TV, so I can relate.
yeah. I thought this one might speak to you. For a couple of reasons, but yeah. I personally, this one wasn't, I think, on my radar, and as far as anywhere near the top, but the more I looked at it over time, I grew to actually kind of love this room. I think it's a little unconventional. I like the multicolored part, and then of just the symbolism, little nostalgia is evoked by those old TV sets in the 90s we were so used to. So little asymmetrical, little funky, little lopsided, but I think overall I'm a fan. How about you, Ski? How about you, Kenny?
What is this shroom? Like, what is it even?
It's called Bitcoin TV. We'll break that
Okay,
down, but
I
it's
gotcha.
yeah,
It
yeah,
reminds
little
me of
TV
the
show.
like the more you know, where it's like dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun. That's what it reminds me of. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah, Channel
I
5,
don't,
the more you know.
but I know
It was like the cartoons when I was a kid. It sounds like they kept that one around when you were a kid.
thought you were going
yeah,
for a reading rainbow reference,
And you
but
weren't sniffing glue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I was like, kind of, I like to initially think of these as, you know, personal brands and PFPs. And I'm like, how would I play with this one to make it look cool? But I actually think if you like off or cut off some of it, it would look really dope. But
Hmm.
seeing the whole thing, a bit odd. You know, it doesn't really speak to me too much, but I do like the funky different pixel colors and stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that,
That's a good
yeah,
point, Ski Guy, because the tube itself I think is super cool. Like I wonder, I'm sure Shroom tried.
I like
I
it.
wonder if you could have pulled the like because you have to make the shape of the TV or people aren't going to
Right.
know it's a TV. Because if you put it in your traditional Shroom cap, like you could have those cool colors, but
Right.
it would be
You got to
very
make
tough
the
with the dials and
distinctive.
the antenna to do it. I
Yeah,
guess you could have the antenna off it, but I'm guessing it still wouldn't work because then I'm sure he tried it. It was like, no, this looks like a fish tank or like
for
a
sure.
space window, like of a supernova or something. Like
Right.
you wouldn't know what you're
I
looking at.
I think it works well with that limited amount of pixel space you got there to get the design across. And
there's a lot going on. I'll say that.
hmm
A lot going on.
All
Like
right, so this
the
is kind of
Bitcoin
cool.
magazine is
But
Yeah.
before we move on, check it out. So I got it. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so Bitcoin Magazine.
Look at
So
that.
on there,
I'll give
we've
you 30
got
bucks.
no, we got Quantum Cats, we got Bitcoin Rocks, we have the
Oh, never mind.
Frogs. What else do we have? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have the cats. They weren't out yet. We have Taproot Wizards. Oh, I guess we do. Yeah, wow. So the Wizards got they got two. They got the I didn't realize the cats were out by then. Oh, we got Bitcoin Shrooms
Hmm.
right here. Right. There we go.
You gotta love
Yeah.
that. Oh, I remember the span. Yeah, I do remember this. Someone shared this a while ago in our shroom chat, I think, and I didn't know what it was, but this now ties it all together.
I don't even know what this middle one is. This blue one, maybe that's just spam. It's no that one, that blue one. That's just spam itself. But you got BRC
Wow.
20. I don't know what that one is. Free Julian Assange. Maybe there was a 4 megger there. But then the bottom is all ordinals. But yeah, the frogs made it.
That's
The
awesome.
Taproot Wizards. Do we dare even do a segue into Taproot Wizards?
Uh,
And
we can leave that one off for the end.
all
I don't
right,
know.
that's
Yeah,
fine. So just so I'm not
a lot
crazy,
of meaty discussion there.
here's like how you read it. That's actually light writing on dark, but it gets worse.
That's really cool. I like the way that
Yeah,
looks.
they definitely made it stylish, but hold on, let me show you the when I gave
I
up
think
on.
you can still actually buy them. I think you can still
Oh,
get a
really?
copy. Yeah.
I wonder if those will become limited at some point and perhaps a little sought after. It's a good commemorative piece.
Oh, here's a
Little
Oh,
little collectible
shout out
from
to
the future.
Fomojis right here.
Oh,
oh,
cool.
nice.
My microphone's in the
They
way.
should just do a collection where you can claim a physical too. You know,
Hmm.
Mm,
do like a limited run and hype it up.
ain't a bad idea.
There we go. Here's some good writing that I'm talking about, like yellow on black. I'm like, yeah, I can't read that. Not even close. It's a cool magazine.
Not
I
too
mean,
bad.
it's a great.
Yeah.
I think it's a little. It's more of a collectible cover, so it's a little more durable because it's just been sitting on my coffee table for the last
Yeah.
7 months. So
That's a cool
uh,
piece. No, it's something I'd like to have on like a coffee table as well.
absolutely, well, I can sell you
Yeah.
that and my coffee table for
Let's
6,000.
let's chat. See you after the episode.
All right.
But yeah, so going back to this one, I something else pretty cool I didn't realize was if you scroll down in the collection, you'll see there are actually two other almost identical Shroom TV, I guess you could say companions that display something different on the tube set. But I
Well,
didn't
look at all
realize
these
that at first. It was-
spoilers. He's just
Dude,
running through all the
because he told me
spoilers.
to. He said, "Screw down a little." I'm like,
Unbelievable.
"This isn't a little." Oh,
it's some oh,
Heyo.
stop there.
I did.
It's 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 much further down if I recall,
All right,
but it's
well,
later in the series. But you've got two other I guess you could call them triplet twin shrooms, but
oh,
pretty cool. Just a little plug-in. But and then the last thing I was going to say was this shroom reminds me of a weird movie experience I just had is it's a very random plugin, but not so long ago I saw a movie called I Saw the TV Glow. Don't know if you've ever heard of it, but really caught me off guard in a very strange kind of David Lynchian film. But I guess if you're out there watching this, go watch I Saw the TV Glow, and maybe you'll see why. It's a very, very weird ride. So as far as this shroom goes, you know, Shroom Toshi's description said the only thing that comes close to binge watching MTV in the late 90s at Bitcoin TV. And so, Blue, that's another reason I thought this one might speak to you a little more. It just harks back to different times when media was a little different. Like the MTV plugin. I thought this was really cool, and it just kind of triggered some 90s nostalgia for me in those days when you're, you know, kind of staying up late watching TV at night from your late 90s TV set. And those were just fun times, just a different era. And I was not aware of what Bitcoin TV was, but this was a little bit of a different thing as of more recent. But it's basically a repository of educational videos um, and content for the Bitcoin community in the time when YouTube was censoring content creators and really making it tough for them to actually keep their videos online. So it created a you know a uncensorable repository through something called, I think it was PeerTube, using torrent technology. So pretty cool. I thought that was just, you know, neat, something I didn't know about. But see, we're
Oh, is this where you
going through
showed
history
us
there.
those crazy? You showed us those crazy videos. Was that from this one?
Which videos
It
might
it
those have
was
been?
like the crazy, like back when you were just when Blue was just flicking through those towards the start. There was like those wild videos
Oh,
that
Girls
were like
Gone
real.
Wild. Yeah, I don't know
You mean Girls Gone
No,
Wild?
why
no,
did
no,
you
no, no. Like before that, dude, that like this part, there was no, it was through. You were just flicking through it, but yeah, kind of near here. That you were showing us something like these weird dark clips. Um,
Oh,
from
that was
Yeah.
a different shroom from those were those what was it? That was in the mining section. That was
oh,
an
okay. I didn't know if
esoteric
it
YouTube
had tied
video.
into that too. Yeah, okay.
No, no, but that was a cool plugin. Yeah,
That
Shroom
was
Toshi
weird.
like plugged us into some weird, yeah, kind of 90s.
Hmm.
I don't know what that was, a psyop or something.
Shroom
It's
Toshi just wanted to give us fucking nightmares. That's
it's
basically what it was.
Those
just
videos
wanted to
were
get real Lynchian
interesting
on
for
us.
sure. They were very,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, that was fun and strange.
Yeah, so you got Wild on you. So this is just basically a throwback to the 90s. I mean, this is going
Yeah.
to dox myself, but when all of these things were here, Wild and Crazy Kids, Real World Challenge, all that stuff, the Real World Seattle, I was working there. I was in the thick of all this.
Love it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Love that.
I loved all that shit. I would eat that stuff up. Real World and Road Rules. Come on. TRL in the afternoon.
They don't make
Our
them like they
ratings
used
went
to.
up like 20x going from just music videos to all the real world stuff. So it was definitely the salad days for the MTV networks. It was just profitable. You know, it was pre-internet like taking off, and it just
Yeah.
cable. You had it like MTV had a lock on teens, and Nickelodeon had a lock on
Oh
kids.
yeah.
It was a good time to sell. I had a couple other networks I had to sell, like TV Land and we had Comedy Central, we had Spike TV, we had a bunch of them, but
Oh
MTV
yeah.
and
Good
Nickelodeon.
walk down memory lane.
But we sold all of them together. So they'd be like, I'm not buying TV Land. To be like, the fuck you're not. Like you want kids to chew
It's
you want
part of
kids
the
to chew
package
Wrigley gum,
deal.
or you want them to chew fucking Orbit. Like, get your ass back in this seat. And the funny thing is, like, my bosses were like, we were trained to be so hard nosed and negotiators because
All right.
we didn't have to bend. We owned the market.
Right. Yeah.
When that softened and the internet came out, like, all my bosses who were hard nosed, like, all of a sudden when you have to do the soft dance,
The
like,
tune changed
you're no
probably a good
longer
bit.
you're persona non grata in your industry
Yeah.
after that. But those guys They made so much money, and at the highest
It's
levels of
wild.
that company, these parties in New York, like the amount, like this is the only company back in the 80s and 90s where the CEOs and the top level execs did way more drugs than the rank and file. Like I just look at it and be like, you guys, I went to college, you guys are
Yeah,
still effing nuts. Like
that's wild.
have fun with that.
A golden era
It
Can
was.
you imagine the
for
amount
some.
of like illegal stuff that happened when there wasn't social media back then? And like the like
And phones,
you
camera
know,
phone,
When
you
you
know.
were
it's
fairly insulated from the risk of
Yeah.
getting blown up. Yeah.
just not like nothing. And those guys had a complete just domination over media. Like I can't imagine what went down.
Yep. Now
Yeah.
it's
And to have the market
fragmented.
cornered like that, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's very.
Hey Blue, did you ever go to spring break for one of the MTV spring breaks?
I did not do spring break, but I always
Oh,
went on Lift Ticket to Ride, which was it was literally the lowest rated show of any show on any network. It was on
I
VH1,
don't
know
think
what
I've
it
even
but we
is.
heard
would
of it.
take all of our clients to Aspen, and I remember I got there. I'm like 25 years old, and
That sounds
my
fun.
boss is like, "That snowboard looks a little old." I'm like, "No, I got it. Like I lived in Sun Valley for a couple of years. Like I banged it up, but it's a good snowboard." He goes, why don't you go grab yourself a new one? You know what? Like you're representing our company now. Like go get a new jacket. I'm like, dude, like I'm not
That's
getting
awesome.
paid. I'm still kind of low level. He goes, no, 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 no,
It's on
no.
your dime.
He's like, we got this. Just charge it to your room. I'm like,
I
really?
love it.
Like, so it was like these guys were nuts. Like Four Seasons, the top,
That's so good.
whatever meeting you
You must have
had.
had the worst fuking snowboard, dude.
I was like, snowboard
No,
must
I
be
had
pretty
the, I had
shitty,
the,
He's wearing like a jean jacket on the slopes.
no,
They're
dude,
like, dude.
I snowboarded since I was like 14 years old. It was like literally when it was invented. I had a barfoot and then I had a Burton Ouija. That thing was I snowboarded like 145 days every day for an
oh
entire
man,
ski season in Sun Valley, and I was like riding down rails and on walls. Like I just torched the thing. It was a great snowboard though. No way.
Guess Blue needs to come on our next snowboarding trip.
Yeah, I'm a little old,
I
but I used to be able to ride pretty well.
you didn't happen to keep that thing, would you? That would be quite a
The
collectible,
Ouija,
at least from a
no.
personal
I
standpoint.
should have. If you saw it, I hung it up when I had a
I think it'd be
loft in
so cool
Chicago.
to, yeah,
I hung it by
yeah,
wires on my 14-foot ceilings, and it hung
right.
down below the fish tank. And it was like it was
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
beaten. It was like a badge of honor. So I should
Yeah,
have kept it, but I'm sure when I bought my first house, I'm sure the wife was like, "Yeah, that thing's," or maybe not even
chuck that
said it.
piece of wood.
It's just gone. You know, like
Yeah,
one day it's
yeah.
just like, "Hey, where's the?" I must have gotten rid of it.
That's
So,
pretty cool to imagine all the miles you put on the thing and then you just have it
oh
yeah,
yeah.
proudly displayed. I like
Oh, that
that.
thing was the best. A lot of powder on that
That's
board.
cool. Yeah. Well, that's the Bitcoin TV shroom for you guys. I don't know if any other questions or thoughts, but it's a good time and a cool shroom.
Oh, what is this?
I love the new ski god. He's just like brings his malt liquor and sunglasses. Like this fucking shroom blows. Like all the governors,
Uh,
all the ski god governors have come off. I love it.
It's
good.
none other than our last shroom of the day, sadly. But yeah, it's ordinal number 869. It's called Breed Love. I don't know if you can see the
Oh,
play on words there. Hopefully I don't have to explain it. But
yep.
yes. I think it's a cool shroom. I again don't like brown personally, but I love the design. I don't know if we're all fans of this one.
There's so much brown. Why is there so
There's
much brown in this
mhm.
collection?
Yeah, there's a lot of brown, but
A lot of browns and grays.
Is that
yeah.
right? So big appreciate to Holly A saying blues and OG snowboarder. That is definitely true. And she's saying big hair, don't care. And she's got a pretty cool, is that a black eyes there? That's a pretty cool one. So
Hell yeah.
Holly, welcome to the
Yep.
show. So far, I
Yeah.
will say, I mean, Bongo did say GM, so that counts for something. But right now, guys, just so we know,
Going on Bongo.
as we're rounding up the show doing our last one, we've got basically it's probably either Chad or Holly for the t-shirt. Although Holly, if you see it, you may not want it. You may. It's you may not.
It's
I
a
don't
little
know.
in your face.
Yeah, if you're going to meet
But
your fiance's parents, like maybe wouldn't wear it, but otherwise, yeah, on the slopes under the jacket, definitely wear it.
yeah. Ordinals conference, maybe. Airport, eh. But you know,
Ugh.
But yeah, our last room of the day. This one's a good one. It's Breedlove and Robert Breedlove, the man who turned down the leading role in Magic Mike to become a professional orange pillar at Breedlove 22 per Shrimtoshi. And yeah, Breedlove, he's a prominent figure in the Bitcoin space. He's known for his very philosophical approach to money and economics. He also founded the What is Money podcast, and he explores a lot of the nature of money, as well as Bitcoin, broader implications on society. I think the humorous reference to Magic Mike probably comes from his well-known uh, status of being absolutely shredded, which many podcasts hosts and co-hosts have made sure to point out. So it's become sort of a running joke. Not to make fun of him, but just the sheer fact that it's consistently happened every time when they look him up. But yeah, he began his career in finance. He transitioned to a focus on Bitcoin, and he's become, really a thought leader in the space. And he's participated in many conferences. He's been at Bitcoin Amsterdam as of last year. He was even at the Libertarian National Convention 2024. He's done all sorts of cool things. He's authored a book with Jimmy Song in 2020. He did a multi-part interview style discussion with Michael Saylor called "What Is Money?" The Saylor series, and he also published an essay. The Sovereignism series is a collection that explored the rise of property, organized crime, and the interplay between violence and economics. Something I haven't dug into yet, but he's unmistakably been a force for education and research in the space and gotten a lot of people to ask the important questions. And I think it's impressive that, this single guy has earned himself an entire Bitcoin
There you
shroom. And I
go.
think, oh yeah, that's I think that underscores the Magic Mike reference. But um yeah, to have an entire Bitcoin shroom dedicated to you, you must have done something fairly significant in the space. And I think it's no question that Robert Breedlove has been a very important thought leader in Bitcoin's history. So I don't know if you guys have any personal experience with digesting some of his content or have listened to him before.
It's
Uh,
funny. I've heard of him, never
Yeah.
listened to him. I did not know he was a big Bitcoiner. That the only old Maxi I used to listen to Bitcoin wise is probably Peter McCormack and
Yeah.
Andreas. Like I never expanded out much. That new guy, that Walker guy, he's decent. It's called like the Bitcoin podcast, just when McCormick went down. But Robert Breedlove, I
Mm.
honestly, I like if you had said his name, I'd be like, no idea who that is. Don't know. Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting last name, but I don't know him.
Yeah. Heard him speak once or twice, I think as a guest, but not as a primary host or anything else.
Got it. I thought he was like
you
a
guys, unbelievably disrespectful to one of this guy represents Bitcoiners, man. Just fucking living
Don't
life.
even
Bitcoin's doing
start.
its work. If you guys
We're gonna
haven't
send you a
listened to
pop
the
quiz on Robert Breedlove after this.
if you haven't listened to the Sailor series with Breedlove, like, come on. What are you even doing? It's like a 10 episode deep dive into economic history and then how Bitcoin comes in with Sailor. It's like 10 hours of content. It's beautiful. And you guys are just saying you've seen them here and there? What are you talking about?
We're just getting orange pilled
Yeah,
by Shroom Toshi,
just sell your shrooms,
just
guys. Pack it
plugging
up.
us in.
Unbelievable. I think he
Well,
gets a little bit of a bad rap
yeah.
because he's jacked. And I think a lot of people think like,
What's wrong with being Jack, bro?
like, I just think they think like, what's this, you know, who is this dude or whatever. But if you like go listen to his stuff, he's very much who you would want most Bitcoiners to like, you know, kind of act like. He's very kind of like deep in the weeds on economic theory and lives his life in like that kind of sovereign individual way, right? Like take
Mm,
care of my body, take care of my mind. Now, I'll be honest, a little bit recently, he's been going down the route of like, honestly, you might like it because he's going down the like Aubrey Marcus was on his podcast. Like he's going down the kind of like
mm,
spiritual journey too and health thing, which
Oh, I see.
makes sense. Living
Segueing
on like
off a
a
little bit from,
sustainable farm, all this shit.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
is what a lot of like real pioneer believers probably kind of wish they could follow through on other than just owning Bitcoin. He's kind
Right.
of
Hmm.
kind of living that life. So
Yeah,
I'll
there's
give
more
him
to
stuff.
life than
I'll
just
give
the
him a
orange
shout
coin.
out, but I don't love his shroom. I'll tell you that.
Not the best one. Kenny, any final thoughts before we wrap it? Because I just realized I have a 2 o'clock meeting.
I like this shroom. I don't know why Ski doesn't. I mean, I send like if I appreciate someone or something someone sent, I always use this emoji in the Shroomverse
It's a good one
Discord.
for that
So
reason. Yeah,
yeah, this
I've
is
seen you do that.
probably one of my most used emojis on the Discord. So I cannot hate this one. I haven't like got into it too deeply yet. I still have to watch the episodes that Ski just recommended. Just written that down.
Same, admittedly.
Um,
I'll
important
link it.
one.
Now I've been publicly
Cool.
shamed, so I will do it.
Exactly. But no, I do like this one, and the stuff I have seen from him has been really cool. So yeah, new journey for us to deep dive. I think even we are learning something with every single episode. So I think that's good.
Yeah, a very peaceful shroom, if you will. You can't hate the love symbol and the nest, pair
True.
of doves.
True.
I don't dislike it as much as Ski, but he does have a point. Like the brown nest, like and Kenny, you're right. Like it's high on the memeability scale, but the brown isn't
Shibutoshi's like,
like
lay off the
actually like
priority,
sometimes
guys.
now
It's
I'm looking.
not
I'm
high
like,
on the memeability scale. What are you talking about?
is that?
It is. It
Oh, it's
is.
great for
I
sending
I assume it's
the
a
hearts out.
nest, but now I'm looking at it. I'm
Yeah.
like, it could be wild brown hair too, like a
Yeah, it could be
complete
that how the kids are wearing it at high school these days. That like
nappy
fluffy
dreads.
What
fronts.
the hell?
I think the nest is a symbolic form for breeding, breed love.
That's what I.
Look,
Got
yeah, I
got
get
the
it, but
eggs and the
like,
birds.
You kind of need to explain
But
it to
fair
Ski.
enough. Fair enough. Yeah, if we have to break it down,
All right. Well, I got to call a
so
new
be
conference
it.
call. Holly is definitely the winner because she not only said she's like, I'll wear that proudly. So
Hey,
let's.
we love that.
So Holly, you're the winner. Congratulations.
because she called you an OG
Congratulations.
snowboarder. That's probably
Exactly.
why.
That's the reason.
That's completely
Chad's
true.
been
Wait,
commenting the whole
All you
time.
have to
I
do is
randomly picked
stroke
out of
his
a
ego.
hat,
You'll get
and
the
the
prize.
winner is Holly.
Well, congratulations, Holly. We hope you love it. And
Holly's
yeah,
a dude, by the way.
I don't care.
she's one of us.
You called
No
me.
idea.
You called me an OG snowboarder, which is true. I had one. Probably my first snowboard was probably in 1988. I think I was a sophomore, and we had a little hill in my buddy's backyard, and we built a big jump. And I had a barfoot. Actually, I had a GNU, and those things sucked. They were pieces of shit. But my buddy had a barfoot, and those were really good. They were flexible, and they were really good for jumps. All right,
Can't see it. Can't
there's
picture
Holly.
it.
Kind words from Holly. We appreciate that. She said, appreciate the Shroom lore and education, guys. Have a great weekend and thank you again. But you as well. We always appreciate it.
Are we done?
That's our final Shroom, folks. So
All right.
we could be.
All right, good numbers today. All right, take care, everybody. Until next week, for Ski God and Rolo and Kenny, I am Blue, and this is fun. Good numbers.
Thank
this
you
week.
guys as always.
I
Yeah,
like it.
it was a blast.
Take care.
Thanks, legends.
See ya.
Cheers, folks. Stay safe.